All right, everybody, this third video will walk us through the steps, how to use the app and what tools in the app will give us what information, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my store here, start up HMH player. And now that I've already logged in before, all I have to do is enter in my password, which again, for students, is the lunch number. So I'll go ahead and log in. Gives us some information. The middle window here, this is where the students generally look. It tells them what assignments they have. I just made up a dummy assignment for myself. It was chapter 1, lesson 1, and gives a due date. I did start it sort of, so I'm in progress. If your child has not started the assignment yet, this circle will be empty. And if your child's finished with the assignment, this will be completely filled in. And then once they submit it, though, it kind of disappears because they no longer, it'll say completed possibly. After they submit this first initial assignment, which will probably be 8.7 starting next week, once they submit it, it will give them one of two extra type of assignments. So if they show mastery on an assignment, then they'll get what's called an enrichment activity, basically a challenge. And if they've shown that they're maybe not quite toward that mastery level yet, they'll get a different type of assignment, a reteach assignment, to kind of reteach some of the principles that we're working toward mastery. So that's the assignment page. This little white portion window here, it generally shows 2, maybe 3 assignments at a time. And so if there's an assignment that we're talking about and you don't see it listed here, you can come down here and choose view assignments, and this will show all assignments that are not done yet. Or the other possibility you might have is to click on this button right here, and it will refresh the page and potentially add a new assignment in there. This window right here, this view library, this is an activity that we do every day as a whole class. But since we won't be meeting as a whole class, this is a great opportunity for your child to click on this section right here, view library, choose the interactive student edition, and we're actually in chapter 8 as a whole group. So that's in fractions. So it's actually unit 2, which gets us to chapter 8. And the last lesson we did was 6. So I can choose 6 here. You could choose 7 when you're ready for it. And brings up our friendly bunny. And really, we don't do the start button here because it kind of introduces everything. It's a little maybe too young, I think, for the kids, and they don't really enjoy it. So it does give us an essential question, what the focus is. Then we choose this button here, next.
And Steve ran 1 mile, and Jenna ran 3/3 of a mile. Did Steve and Jenna run the same distance? Let's unlock the problem.
So then it will walk them through the things they need to click on next. So if I click on this, it will go dive deeper into the lesson. We generally stop. There's a little progress bar right here. We're in this little blue section right here. And then it'll move on to some practice, more practice things. It'll eventually get right here and end at this orange one. That's where we stop. Once it hits here, and I can click on this.
Let's practice with the
personal math trainer. Once it hits this spot here, the next step would be here, and we can just skip right past that. So you don't have to go to this red zone. All right, so that is, I'll back up a little bit here, the interactive student edition within the view library. And that is what we do every day as a whole group. We put that video on the smartboard, and I walk through that introductory portion with them there. The next thing I do after this is we'll ignore that, is that I assign the YouTube video for them to watch on that lesson. I do need to stop my video, it looks like, so I'll go to a second session sort of what this dashboard does and what it looks like.